Hello, world. It's John Pinto, your roving realtor, bon vivant, and video blogger. And I am here with Ted Stephanos, all things HomeGuard natural hazard disclosures. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How you doing today, John?
Very good. I hear that you're doing some remodeling and your wife hasn't inflicted any pain and suffering on you yet, huh?
Well, she'll find a way. Yeah, but
That's
so
good. We
so
better make sure.
so far so good.
Excellent. I'm delighted for you. And Rafael, how are you today?
I'm doing great, John. Thank you again for having us.
Good. Are you guys taking in lots of new orders for roof termite home inspection these days?
Yeah, yes, we are. Yes, we are. And if any of you are, having long wait times when you call on the phone, you can always call me, and I will be
Yeah,
getting.
maybe you can move up my November 11th fumigation that I just scheduled for San Martin, but we'll leave it at that. I know there's only, if I'm going to open up a new business, Ted, how about you and I? We open up some Greek Napolitano business on fumigation because I think there's like one guy that does the fumigation in all of Santa Clara County, and they're out 2 weeks. So let's get to the task at hand, which is going to be naturally occurring asbestos. Now, I will admit to you, Ted, as a realtor with 47 years experience, my experience covers unnaturally occurring asbestos. So that would be asbestos in the cottage cheese ceilings on the houses built, I guess, in the 50s and the 60s. It will also be in the plenum, in the forced air furnaces, where you have the asbestos, where the ductwork meets the gravity feed furnace more than anything else. So I only know naturally occurring asbestos in stories that I've heard in legends about, like up in Roseville or El Dorado Hills or something like that. I don't know too much about it. Please enlighten us.
Okay. Yeah, well, that is a good point. That's what I was going to bring up initially, was that it's important to understand the differences between naturally occurring asbestos and asbestos that you might find in older structures. And so the naturally occurring asbestos is actually related to a rock. Okay, it's actually the California state rock called serpentinite. And the serpentinite is a grayish green rock. It's the state rock. I think I just said that. And there's actually naturally occurring fibers of asbestos in that rock. So asbestos, of course, is a leading cause of lung cancer, and so our asbestosis. And the issue is, if the rock is not disturbed, then it's really not a problem. But where we have had spikes of asbestosis in the community is areas where you've had combinations of this rock in the soil and a lot of development over the last 20, 30 years. So what happens is that rock would get pulverized. It might even be in the dust and in the soil and be kicked up into the air and then ingested in the community. So this has prompted the U.S. Geological Survey and California Geological Survey to map out these areas where you have naturally occurring asbestos. And, there's no state law that requires that disclosure to be made. It's one of these gray area disclosures. It's something that we put in our NHD report if you're within one of those areas of naturally occurring asbestos.
Well, please enlighten me on where these areas might be. It just, most of my practice is Bay Area centric, starting in Silicon Valley and then working my way up the East Bay, the Peninsula, and the North Bay. And it just doesn't come up or hasn't come up that much in those areas. Where might these naturally occurring asbestos zones be?
Okay, well, in the San Jose area, the Silver Creek area has some, and also Communication Hill.
Okay. So, as a home, a listing agent making disclosures, a home seller making disclosures, a buyer's agent helping the buyer read the disclosures, how concerned should they be? How actionable is this disclosure? How actionable is this information? What do you do?
Well, it's kind of hard to say because there has been a lot of studies, and like I said, in its natural state, like if you had outcrops of serpentine in your backyard,
Hmm.
in its natural state, it's not a problem. Now, if you go out there and lick the rock and ingest it somehow, then that's an issue. And obviously, it can be removed. But the main issue is where you have the construction going on. So, in the construction phases in those communities, you had mentioned El Dorado Hills earlier. That
Hmm.
is an area where you do have quite a lot of outcrops of serpentine. Then those are areas, especially during that construction phase where you have dust in the air, it's quite an issue. So, and whenever the wind blows, these spores of asbestos could be, or fibers, travel through the air. So, but again, it's more of like one of those things, almost like EMFs. You might have one group that says yes, that does cause brain cancer, and then the EMF meaning the electromagnetic fields, under high power line, high tension power lines. But there's studies out there. I mean, there's studies, on both sides of the fence saying it's not an issue or it is the issue. And sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. And if you're um, living in one of these areas where you have that construction going on, it's good to, if you're in that construction area, to wet down the areas to keep the dust down. That is actually an ordinance in El Dorado County to do that. So anytime there's construction going on, they have to keep the dust down to keep that the community, reduce any risks possible.
So, what I'm going to opine, again, as a realtor with 47 years of experience, is since naturally occurring asbestos has not become the lawsuit du jour. We always have opportunities for the 200,000 litigating attorneys in the state to come after home sellers and realtors on whatever the lawsuit du jour is. It has not been evident. I haven't seen any publicity, haven't really read any case law, haven't had it run up by our legal department at the California Association of Realtors on any precedent setting cases on injuries sustained by naturally occurring asbestos. So I'm going to think that this is not a huge problem. Would you agree with that context?
Yeah, but you're also kind of driving home the point on how important it is to have a natural hazard report because of the
Mm.
fact that, or let's put it this way, an NHD report, natural hazard disclosure report, that does cover these types of disclosures, these gray areas, because in this case, the seller is protected. The agent representing the seller is protected because they're providing appropriate disclosures.
Well said. Well said. Well, I would direct consumers to your website because if I remember correctly, Ted, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do have sample disclosures for Northern California and Southern California. And I think a savvy home buyer will independently go into your website and look at those disclosure reports and explanations so they could determine in their own mind before they even start their search what's important to them, what's not important to them, and what they want to avoid. Would you think that that would be a good proactive thing for a consumer to do?
Yeah, definitely. The more information you have at your disposal, the better informed you are and the better decisions that you make. So, yeah, without a doubt. And they can come to HomeGuard.com, click on the NHD tab on our website, and read about all the different disclosures we provide.
Thank you for imparting that information, Ted. That is very helpful. And Rafael, if anybody wants to contact you to get that information or order reports, what number can they text you, call you, and where can they email you?
Absolutely. If you guys want to, place an order or just want to have a conversation about the different services that we provide and how to, leverage off of the HomeGuard experience, you can text me at my direct line. That's 707-616-8752. Or you can email me at rbetances@homeguard.com.
And I will say this to any realtors that are watching, Ted and Rafael and Eric in their roof termite home inspection department, and Bob Johnson in the home warranty department have a plethora of information on their website that you could repurpose with your contact relationship manager in your social networking. So please feel free to access HomeGuard and all that information so you can help educate your clients. And with that said, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next video.